Welcome to the Yakon Bush podcast. I'm your host, much like Marty, Mr. Rocker Party. Today we have an exciting guest who will be sharing an impactful story. Young, strong, driven by passion to start something truly riveting and insightful. He's not just a published author, but he is expanding himself in the media world and also in business. We have Duncan Mnisi who's going to give us a full breakdown of who he is and what he's capable of.
A Kunbu's podcast. Real talk, real stories. Let's connect.
Okay, and we are here at the Yakon Bush podcast. On today's episode, like I said, we have a very special guest, but I'm not alone in the hosting duties as I have my amazing co-host with me who's going to introduce herself. And remember to like, subscribe, and share because this story is truly amazing.
My name is Felesta Diliwa and I am the co-host of Yakon Bush podcast.
So, to our lovely guest, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome, and how are you doing?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I feel honored to be here, and I'm doing wonderful.
That's awesome. So, can you please tell us about yourself and your upbringing?
I go by the name of Duncan Mnisi. I am a proud son of busbucridge. I'm a young man who was born and raised in busbucridge. I come from a very harsh and humble background. I was raised by a single parent. Growing up, we didn't have much. I can truly say that we grew up in a very tough and also humble beginnings that really shaped one to be who he is today. But besides the titles, I'm just a believer and a big dreamer in that your background does not define who you truly become or what you can truly become. So I'm one person who believes in that. I believe so much in people more than anything else.
That's truly profound. And can you tell us what is it that when you looked at your background, you were like, I want to break out of this. I'm not going to let it define me, but I'm going to become someone great.
One day I said to myself, I'm tired of begging, I'm tired of asking, even for basic needs, you have to ask to the next person. That's really bothering sometimes. And then I made a very conscious decision at a very young age that I don't want to beg anyone for anything, especially with basic needs. I just want to provide for myself and also provide for my loved ones. So looking around, I then discovered that I was really in a very tough background, that I feel like one should do something to actually change the whole situation. So it started as a young boy who grew up from a family where we're exposed to different opportunities. I'm talking about entrepreneurship, I'm talking about hustling, going out in the streets selling your tomatoes, and the list goes on. That's what I can basically say, that it really shaped the person whom you are listening or watching today.
Okay, so can you please tell us about what you do as we're busy talking about different ventures? Then what is yours?
Maybe before I can say that, I went to school like any other child. I completed my matriculation, I think, in the year 2018. So I furthered my studies at Valley University of Technology, where I studied IT for 4 years. After completing my studies, that's when I had developed passion for writing. But it started back in high school because I was a very good history student. I was good in the history subject. So the reason why I chose history is simply because I was always fascinated about history. I'm one person who likes to question things. I like to learn. I'm a very great student of life. So after completing my studies, that's when my love for writing began. That's when I started to write your articles. I started writing my very first book, which I first got published, I think, in the year 2022. And after that, a lot came after. Now we wear different hats.
That's truly incredible.
Then how many books did you, the total of books did you write, and the titles, year of publications and all that in that order, if yes, and many other different things that you do, if there is something that you do beyond writing.
So after writing my very first book, which I first got published in the year 2022, which is titled The Visionary. So the following year, I wrote another book titled Truth Revealed in the year 2023. in the year 2024, I think I wrote my third book, Kuti Sela Swapuna, in Xitsonga Literary. In the year 2025, I wrote two books, To the Leader in You. I also collaborated with a very prominent figure in busbucridge by the name of Benedict Mhlongo. We wrote a book titled Chronicles of Homer's Life. With writing, I also try to diversify my portfolio by trying to venture into other forms of writings. You can name things like journalism. I also started journalism, I think, in the year 2023, if I'm not mistaken, which is my love for writing, basically. That's what really drove me to journalism as well.
That's truly amazing. So tell us here, when you wrote your first book, what led you? What are the things that came together that said, you know what, I need to put this in writing and publish it? What inspired you to write your first book?
So like I said, I come from a very humble background. I felt like one should dream bigger than their circumstances. So realizing that, I've seen that most people can dream, because dreaming for me, according to my understanding, dreaming is priceless. Anyone can dream. You don't have to have a silk pen in your pocket to dream.
Very true.
It takes nothing to dream.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to revive the hope for young people and really show anyone that it's possible to come from a very humble background and still make it in life. It doesn't, your background doesn't define who you truly become. That's what really inspired my very first book.
That's amazing.
All of your books are published and
Yes, they are published.
And any line from your book that you hold close to your heart that you can quote and break down for us?
There is a certain quote that really I carried with me. I've carried it with me for a very long time, which is dreaming is priceless. Like I said, you don't have to come from a very rich family to become a dreamer. Anyone can afford to dream. Even you who's listening at home, I'm just a living proof that you can make it out regardless of your situation or your circumstances.
Maybe language Tonga or Spain or
Of course. So when I published my second book, Truth Revealed, a lot of people started to question who was the boy Duncan is, busbucridge. So they wanted to know more about me, because when I wrote my very first book, it was not mainly about me. It's all about dreams and visions and all of that. So after writing that one, I think what came after that one is Truth Revealed. What gave birth to that one, it's questioning reality, questioning things, having answers for those questions. So people started to be very curious about who is Duncan is. That's when I said to myself, now let me write a book in Venek, in my home language, which is Xitsonga. Kuti Sela Swapuna. It's like a conclusion. It's a concluding statement. I've went through it, I've seen it, and I've experienced it. It's possible to make it. So Kuti Sela Swapuna, it means I've perceived throughout different situations, the ups and downs, through difficulties, and I managed to make it out of my situation, which is why I feel like the next person, if they are able to, if they come across that book, they will be able to resonate with that young boy who was always a dreamer, how he started, how he has managed to forge his way up.
and beyond publishing your own books, like you do help other writers to publish, authors to publish their own books.
Yes, it started as I got a phone call from one of my childhood friend, my high school friend, when I published my first book in 2022. So he was also struggling with publishing. So he came into the picture to say, how do you manage to do this thing, because it's quite difficult. It's very unlikely to see someone comes from the villages doing whatever you're doing. So I'm inspired by your work, please help me. So that's when I started to become a publisher. So I've published, I think, over 15 books, if I may count.
okay.
To answer your question straight, I sell all my books for 200 each. But for me, it's not really about the pricing or the money. It's about the message that I'm trying to deliver to the next person. That's what's really important.
Okay, besides like being an author and writing your books, taking them out to the public, what's the other things that you do?
I'm also a journalist. I joined a community radio station, RFM, in the year 2023. That's when I started as a news reader, news broadcaster. That's when my journalism was really shaped, I can say. So after realizing that now I'm a professional news reader or broadcaster, let me rather diversify that portfolio to see what else can I contribute towards the media space. So that's when I joined Timeless News. By the way, I didn't study media, but with my background from joining RFM, it really contributed a lot to my career. So I joined Timeless News, I think in the year 2023, as a news reader or broadcaster, or a news reader or a news reporter, and that's when my journalism journey began. I also joined Immaculate Media the following year. I was also writing pieces to commercial media outlets out there. So that's how my journalism journey went about. I also tried to start businesses. Like I said, when I was still in high school, I was a very entrepreneurial person, because I started selling sweets when I was, I think, in grade 8. That's when my entrepreneurial journey began. So in the year 2020, that's when I started to look into different things. I started to work in a family business, a construction business, as a managing assistant there. So that's when I was really shaped to be fully equipped to be a business person. So I started my company, I think, in the year 2022, where I was just writing and publishing my own books, but it got to a point where I now publish for others, and that's how my business journey began. So I'm now the founder and director of Mohasla Group, which is a diversified business entity. We have operations in books, publishing and consultations. We also have operations in agriculture. We specialize with crops like your vegetables like your cabbages, your chilies. And we also recently ventured into agro-processing. That's when we add value to what we harvest in the farm. For example, we process watermelon into watermelon jam. So that's something that we recently started. But besides my business journey, I'm also a radio broadcaster. Like I said, I ran different shows in the past 4 years, from your mid-morning chat show, your midday show. Now I'm hosting the drive show at RFM. That's what I basically do at the moment.
That's amazing.
Okay, let's just take a quick break. We'll be back with more questions for our guest.
Akun Busbucridge Podcast. Real talk, real stories. Let's connect.
Now we are back from our quick break. So as we continue, like our guest as I mentioned, things like farming, all that. Like, where are you guys based?
Komekasa Selan, Kola Busbucridge, Mpumalanga province, to be specific.
Okay. And tell us here, what is the best part about your job? What is it that makes you wake up and look forward? I know that you're a multi-talented man who has his hands in various things, but what is the payoff from all of these jobs?
So my purpose is to serve people. That is what I basically do. It's just that I serve in different ways. So serve site ratsala tibuku and serve site ratsala articles tiban bataranzaka and so articles tiban bataranzaka. So that's what I basically do. I serve people in different ways. Writing, through broadcasting.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I host the most streamed loud show in town.
Oh, that's amazing, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and in all the things that you do, like you keep in your like you love it more, like you love doing it more.
That's tricky.
It's very true. But I love them all, Kashikash. I love writing. I enjoy writing. Every day I write something, something, whether it's a book, whether I'm editing for someone, whether I'm writing a social media post. I enjoy doing that. Also at the farm, I enjoy being there.
Wow.
I enjoy also being there. Also enjoy being on radio. I wanted to quit more, so people like I don't quit. The people around me, I don't quit.
So
We understand.
Hotel I ball pen, kumba computer, kumba phone.
So writing I get inspired by different things, whether it's personal things, whether it's things that in general, maybe someone telling me something that should inspire a certain a dialogue in my head, so natsala somewhere, maybe on my notes, maybe a word or a sentence or maybe a paragraph. Sometimes feel inspired to write something, that's when I go check on my notes, so let me continue with this. Yeah. No, even on my notes on my phone, I can write. Sometimes I'm in a text, a conversation, I like it, so I just write something. This thing is very important to me.
So like when like in case like Valaku reach out for your services, could be like it can be the agricultural side of things, the things that you produce, lava the cabbage, lava yagyao, and all that.
So I'm one person who go and try as much as I can. In my busy schedule, I squeeze in calls. I get to reply to messages via social media, if it's WhatsApp. I try as much as I can to try to engage another. So it's not always about business. Sometimes people will message just to check on you. Definitely. How are you doing? But because maybe you're a businessman or they need your service, but they want to service you in a different way.
True.
Yeah. So nakumeka on Facebook, on TikTok, on X or Twitter, YouTube, you name it, and also on LinkedIn, Duncan Minutes. You just write Duncan Minutes, you'll find
all
my
the social media
yes,
platforms.
there's always one profile picture. And I've also realized something, Facebook, there are people who create the social the account on my name. Sometimes it's different names, the pictures, the picture so people don't put how. So when man Duncan say man so I get those kind of things.
Okay. I don't know if there's any more questions from them.
Well, you, as someone wants to preserve the Tsonga heritage, so can you tell us about that? Why is it so important for you to preserve this language and things like that?
Tsonga ri mirwanda ku ritekeliwa hansi ngopfu swi hetle swi fika kun'wana ka a point ya ku I think 2024 vanghana lava ni nga na vona and I reach out to them ku ni byeli xivongo xa ku ri xisukela kwini on twisisa. So all of them they couldn't say va huma kwini njhani, how they came about, their roots kahle kahle a va ti tivi. So I was like, let's start something in a non-profit organization la we preserve culture Matsonga, we also celebrate it in different ways, we also teach others about the Tsonga culture or Tsonga community. So that's when I started to take it more serious and also trying to convince others let's form a movement. We celebrate who we are and why we are here.
That's beautiful. And I'm not going to let you off the hook. Can you tell us who is your celebrity crush? I mean, I'm dying to know. You're a famous person, so hit us up.
Let me think about one. I have a number. I have a list.
Bring it. Like you can just give us your top 5.
When crush, it doesn't mean that person will end up dating. Or something. I like Msaki.
Oh,
I don't know if which gender, but I just like the personality, the voice. Msaki, you've made my day.
And
so,
number 2?
Number 2, It has to be Natasha Tan.
Oh, yeah.
Actress. One person, it's a man advisor who don't date your crush.
Oh.
Because it might not end well. So
Exactly.
I just keep the feelings to myself.
Okay, I think like one last question is, if you would like to impact the youth or say something to the youth or encourage the youth, like ini leswi nga ta va byela swo u nga tala ku va byela kumba ku va inspire kumba like what would you like to say to young people?
So ndzi ku mixa ku ri vana va papa vana va mane a swi olovanga ku kula endhawini ya ku situation already loko sungula vele le ka one not ku va u khavhara laha swi va a swi olovanga swi ni da munhu loyi a nga na mbilu ya ku tiyisela. Sometimes loko swiyimo swin'wana swi vuyisa hansi, swin'wana swi ku discourage. Sometimes loko na vanhu lava nga le kusuhana va ku discourage va vula leswiya va vula leswiyani kuma ku hinkwaswo so swi digesta swi ku endla ku your self confidence yi va hansi ma twisisa so believe onge a swi possible na loko tshika u twa un'wana guy I'm doing 1 2 3 you feel like it's impossible because we're win failing kumbe van'wana va ku byela ku hi failing and it's impossible to do something like that. So I just want to say go regardless of where you're coming from, everyone leswi nga vekeliwa swa vuton'wini whether different careers kahle leti xikombo xi nga ku vekela toho kumbe leti u nga tswariwa na toho. I think everyone needs to stick to their purpose and just find themselves in a way you give and when you give you will receive. I know ku ri hlanganisa swilo swo tala hi nkarhi wa one mara I know ku ri one person in twin ku ri ngeta ku vulavula yini and that one person I loko ni inspire vanhu and focus eka the masses I just want one person. Yeah, I know that one person it has one in that way.
Yeah, there you have it from our guest.
He never finished on the crushes because he only gave us 3. So before you close, give us more because ladies and gentlemen, you never know, you could be what he's looking for.
So I don't know because some one ba mako se va take win so say very wrong.
It doesn't matter, a crush is just
yeah, like you said, it could be a professional admiration where you like their work. So yeah.
No, I also like what's the real name? Connie Ferguson. Yeah, I also like Connie Ferguson. I also admire a lady called by the name of Yong. Was one lady who inspires me every day. So that's the list.
So really for the inspiration, for the motivation, lowering our guest utile are motivator kayo nar tuteleza. So I would like you to follow us, subscribe, share. What else?
Interact with us on social media.
Yes, so from us, even we thank our guests and we thank you all. Thank you.
And there you have it, folks. Duncan is really on a great rise. He's empowering not only just himself, but many young people out there, giving them an example that it's all possible and it's all beautiful. So we thank you so much, as our co-host said. Until next time from us here at Auckland Bush Podcast, remember, real talk, real stories, let's connect. We love you. Thank you so much. From us here, goodbye.
Auckland Bush Podcast, real talk, real stories. Let's connect.